Menendez, and this is my Excel project for Accounting 595. Let me just give you a little background. I have extensive experience as a CPA, researching and resolving technical accounting issues. However, my skills in Excel are a little bit further behind. I've been fortunate throughout my career to have a lot of people underneath me that I supervise that were very adept at Excel. So I'm actually learning quite a bit through this process. And let me go ahead and start telling you about my project. I chose this particular project because it has some relevance for me. I have a son who's going into his senior year of high school and he wants to play college baseball. And it's a pretty big decision as a family in terms of how many colleges are out there, where he might fit in academically and athletically, and then obviously as a parent, the cost of the program or the 4 years is very important as well. So with that being said, I was able to pull down information from the internet on a lot of colleges, or all the colleges in the United States, and the data set I was able to pull down had specific characteristics in terms of how selective the school was in terms of athletics and also from an academic standpoint. And the data also gave me the in-state and out-of-state tuition, along with the enrollment for undergraduate students at the school. So, with that being said, I only used 3 states here because this was a pretty manual process to kind of build my initial data set. Picked Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. They're all 3 close by. And so, when we start off, there's an input sheet. The spreadsheet asks 3 basic questions of the parent or the student. What's your state of residence? What your high school class ranking is, and how fast is your fastball? Obviously, there's a lot of other factors that would go into assessing your academic and athletic capabilities and a match, but for purposes of a spreadsheet, I try to simplify it as best I could. And so with these 3 questions, these are the questions you have to answer. And I created drop-down menus for either your Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, or other. Where you fit in your class rank, and in this case, between 50 and 75, and then how fast is your fastball. So with that being said, I took the raw data file and was able to create a data table through Excel, which is very nifty. It gives you a lot of options to sort and otherwise manipulate the data. And I also took advantage of some of the conditional formatting options to give some kind of more visible recognition to some of the factors. Then I used VLOOKUP in an effort to put context behind the answers to the 3 questions you were asked to answer. Using the VLOOKUP table, I matched those answers to the data set, if you will. Like I said earlier, the data set provides whether or not the school is the academic selectivity, if it's somewhat selective, very selective, etc. Same from an athletic standpoint, whether it's competitive, most competitive, somewhat competitive, etc. So I created the data table to match the VLOOKUP tables to match the answers to the 3 questions to those parameters, as you can see here. And so with that being said, I created a pivot table that you're able to, based on your answers here, you're able to select, and this one's already did it for us, but the athletic selectivity is competitive and academic selectivity is selective. And so here are the universities that were matched in the first go round, if you will. 3 universities in Louisiana, 1 Oklahoma, and 3 from Texas. And so then I said, well, let me narrow this down a little bit more based on some other characteristics that might be relevant to the parent or the student. And I just kind of picked the size of the school. We didn't want to go to a school that was too small or a school that might have been too big. So I used some of the if-then statements, formulas. And so if it's less than if it's less than 5,000, it would spit out that it was either too small, and if it was greater than 25,000, it would spit out that it was too big. So that then the next column, this would tell us if it was a match. And this is using the and statement. So if you got okay for both, then it was a perfect match, true. And if it was a partial match, if you just got the okay. So with that being said, I created a second pivot table to narrow it down to even further based on those other parameters. And now I got it narrowed down to two schools, Louisiana Tech and the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. And so with that being said, after narrowing it down to those two schools, I was able to come up with I built an amortization table to help determine the cost of the program, considering a 10-year student loan. And with that being said, the spreadsheet already calculates it based on the athletic criteria that the answer to the question that he's available for 25% scholarships in both academic and athletic. So that factors into the cost. So in this case, the annual tuition for the first school that was selected, Louisiana Tech University, $25,851. Plug it into here. After calculating the expected scholarship offers, comes to a 4-year cost of $51,000 at annual interest rate, and it presents the monthly payment and amortization schedule for the 10-year period. And then I added one more functionality to this, was saying, well, what if our budget was strictly limited to 50,000? What if this had to be 50,000? So I created a goal seek and then plugged in the 50,000. So this told me that the before scholarship offers, the annual tuition had to be 25,000. So if I go back to my adjusted pivot table here, looking at my final two schools for possible selection, this would lead me to pick Louisiana Tech University over based on my budget. So anyhow, I hope you find that interesting. I found it very rewarding and very helpful as well. Thanks again. Bye-bye.